Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Yegi project. It is officially 2024. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. I am excited for the year 24. Somebody told me with my numerology, it's going to be a big year for me. So I'm counting on that. I hope everybody is also excited for the year 24. And of course, I'm a big believer of a lot can happen in a year, and it is what we make of it. So here we are at the Yegi project with the first episode that I'm recording in 24. I am going to talk about this book called Raising Resilient Kids. So even if you don't have kids, everything in this book literally you can apply to your life currently to have a better lifestyle. Hi, I'm Yegi. I'm an entrepreneur and success coach who wants it all. Family, luxury, career, and the freedom to do whatever I want, whenever I want. And I'll do whatever it takes to get there. I created the Yegi project to document my journey and inspire others to do the same. My mission is to change the world by influencing and leading others to do what they love and live fulfilled lives. All right, so Raising Resilient Kids. The reason why I even came across this book was because I was really intrigued with the title. I think resiliency is really important in humans, in anybody, not only in kids. But part of me has always had this fear that the kids I'm raising in today's day and age are going to be so different compared to how I was raised or how my parents. But of course, that's given. Things change, time change. But I feel like with a lot of the lifestyle now, it's hard to raise resilient kids. So I was very intrigued to learn more about how to do that in today's day and age. And a lot of research went into this book. And honestly, I love this book even just for me, even not for the kids, for me to have a better lifestyle and work on myself, but have a very broken down step-by-step approach of what I can do. Now, the book is kind of divided by in weekly tasks of things that you can work on to have a better lifestyle. Of course, that would lead to resiliency, happiness, joy, like better lifestyle, better health, and all that stuff. But in my opinion, I think each area will take a lot more than just a week to work on. I've actually kind of attacked it in my own life in a very mix and match order, which again, you can do it however you like. But I want to talk about it so you guys can kind of, again, start thinking about some of the things that you're currently doing and some of the things that you can work on. And I thought it would be perfect to talk about this in the beginning of the year, because that's when we're all highly motivated to make positive change. And of course, with all the New Year's resolutions, have kind of a nice broken down way of things we can work on. And of course, you guys know this podcast is about overall success and happiness. Literally all the principles in this book is where you need to start in order to be successful in life and business and all around. So what I love about this book is that the author is Rhonda Spencer-Hwang. She's an epidemiologist. I hope I pronounced that right. But basically what she does is she's a public worker who does research and studies patterns and trends to see what's been going on and what leads to health and all that good stuff. So she's an expert in this area. What she did in this book is really study centenarians and dive into how their upbringing was and what they did in order to make it past 100. During the pandemic, Rhonda realized that although she's an expert in public health, her own lifestyle and the lifestyle of her kids are really lacking the health and nutrition that they need. So this is when she decided to really pinpoint the centenarians and see what they did and how their upbringing was in order to live a better lifestyle. After extensive research and many hours of studying the upbringings of the centenarians, she came up with 8 principles of what it takes in order for us to live happy, healthy, be resilient, and also have a longevity of life. And what else do we want in today's age, right? That's our base needs in order for us to be happy and successful and work on anything else that we want to work on. The first thing is we want to spend a lot more time outdoors. She realized that almost all the centenarians spent a lot of times on family farms doing physical demanding activities and chores, and just that was their daily lifestyle. But this is what really kept them in shape, and of course all the benefits of really being outdoors in nature. In today's world, most of us don't have farms to tend to. So what we need to do is incorporate the principle of being outdoors and being active in today's modern world. And she gives us some good ideas of the things that we can do in order to achieve the benefit of being outdoors and in nature and being active. And we don't have to spend hours and hours. It can start with just 15 minutes a day. One thing she recommends is to find something that we need to get done anyways, but try to do it outdoors. If we are in the culture of driving everywhere, that's again something that's taking away from our physical movement outdoors. On purpose, park your car far away from where you need to be, if it's the store, if it's work, or anywhere else, and spend some extra time walking to your destination. Even if it's 2 blocks, 3 blocks, or even if it's at the end of the parking lot, it's better to get some steps in and be outdoors that way versus having the convenience of parking super close to where you need to go. Instead of hiring somebody to mow your lawn, you can literally take on that task and do it yourself, and this is how you could be moving. And if it's for you or assigning these tasks to your kids, it has the same type of benefit. Sometimes having kind of the luxuries of getting things done automatically or in a more easier way is taking away from our health and lifestyle. So instead, we're going to step back and see what we can change in today's modern world to kind of live like the olden days. Another thing, if the weather is not permitting and you can't go outside, something she recommends is sitting in front of a window where you can still get exposed to a lot of natural light and still look out in nature. Maybe read a book, work on a puzzle, and this is for you and your kids. You want to encourage them to do this in order to have all the health benefits. Or if you like to work out and you go to the gym or you work out inside and on the treadmill, instead try to go on a hike or literally move your workout session to outdoors. All of these is how you can be efficient with getting things done that you are going to have to get done anyways, but moving it outside and being more active in nature. And of course, it is so convenient for us to give the iPads, give the phones, turn on the TV with younger kids or even teenagers and just be able to be efficient and get things done as parents or as adults. But contrary, when we are doing that, again, we're taking away from building a happy, healthy lifestyle for them and teaching them by example. So the younger we can start doing these 8 principles, which the first one is spending more time, more active time outdoors with our kids, younger kids, the more of a habit and better we are setting our young kids for success for their life and their future. It literally takes like one generation to work really hard and switch that around, and then hopefully we can each be better examples for our kids and grandkids and down the line. But if you currently have teenagers, sometimes it's harder to encourage them to do things that they're not used to, like going outdoors even by themselves or with adults or with you, right? They just kind of want to do their thing. So one thing that, one trick with that is you can encourage them to do whatever outdoor activity with a friend. A lot of times teenagers, if they have a friend along, they will more likely want to do that. So if it is a sport outdoors like basketball, or if it's a walk or a hike or anything outdoors that your teenager might be interested in, have them bring a friend along. And I would recommend is don't push them to do the thing you want them to do. For example, if I like hiking, I shouldn't encourage my kids or teenager to do the hiking, especially once they are old enough to make decisions of what they like and what they don't like. Instead, ask them, give them some options and ask them which one they would prefer to do. But definitely encourage them to do that thing outdoors, that physical activity outdoors. There's no way they cannot find one thing that they like to do outdoors. With younger kids, you can encourage them again to do the dancing or build a fort outside, even sit down and work on a puzzle outside, do some Legos. I know these are things that younger kids enjoy doing indoors anyways. So all you need to do is just literally encourage them to go outside and do it again if the weather permits. And if it doesn't, you want to encourage them to do these activities indoor, but at least in front of a window where they have access to natural light and they can look outside in nature. One last idea that she suggested in this book is to contact the local farm and see if they want volunteers to go help with the animals or the planting and gardening within the farm. And if you guys are not up for getting your hands dirty and volunteering, I actually, even in the middle of the city, not in the middle of the city, even in Los Angeles, about like 30-40 minute drive out, there are very nice farms that we can go spend family times there together, where the kids can interact with livestock, with different animals, and also pick their own vegetables and fruits, and again, just really be one with nature. So all it takes is for us to be aware and then take that active approach on living a better lifestyle. Again, I understand it is harder, a lot more work to encourage kids and yourself to get outdoors and be physically active compared to just watching TV, being on social media, being on our iPads, watching cartoons, but the benefits are life-changing. So here's a reminder, it's a new year. Let's do it, guys. So the second principle is our nutrition. It's having healthier, simpler foods as part of our meals compared to eating out so much, eating so much fast food. Again, this is actually one area I personally struggle with so much and have not been able to find a really good solution with my family just yet. And that's something that I'll be working on this year. Actually, I'll foreshadow to the next thing. The next thing is the sleep. That's what I was currently working on, but we'll talk about that next. But again, this second thing is nutrition and food. So if you already know that you have poor eating habits, or your family has poor eating habits, your kids are eating fast food too many times because it's convenient to just grab it after games or sports practices or school. You don't have time to cook and all that good stuff. So she has a lot of good recommendations of how you can turn that around slowly in the book. But one thing that really stood out to me, and that's what I would recommend, is really putting it on your calendar to prepare meal time or meal prep time and actually literally have time to sit down and eat. In today's day and age, we're always rushing, grabbing breakfast on the go, eating in the car. But really, when Rhonda did her research with all the centenarians, that was one common thing that they all did. They all sat down and enjoyed their food together as a family growing up. And again, this really builds really good relationships with everybody in the family. It lets you enjoy your meal and enjoy your food compared to just rushing. Eating is part of one of the pleasures in life, and we want to dedicate time to it. So you really need to cut out time and not load up your calendars with so many things to do for you and for your kids with extracurriculars to have enough time to have a sit-down dinner at least. I personally am wanting to work on having a sit-down breakfast and dinner, and of course for lunch, everybody's in school or daycare or work. That's something that everybody can do independently. But at least for breakfast and dinner, it can be realistic for all of us to sit and eat together only if we plan, right? And part of our first initial steps is we don't even have to start off with eating the healthy meals or healthier home cooked meals. We can start with baby steps of just cutting out that time. Okay, we're all going to sit in front of the table and eat together. Turn off the TV. We're going to talk and really bond and have an old school style dinner, right? And that's something I personally really want to work on. There was one other thing I would add is table topic cards. Okay, so that's one thing I've learned from Oprah. She was big on that. She likes to have table topic cards, and we tried it here and there with my kids. They're very young, but the 3-year-old, some of the questions was able to really participate, and he was having so much fun picking questions to ask. So instead of just eating quickly or being on our phones or watching TV, we literally just pick random table topic questions and we ask and go over it around the table. And it's like crazy. My husband of how many years? I don't know, but I've known him for like 9 years now. I forget. But there's new things we're learning about each other that we've either forgotten or never knew by just asking simple questions. And I think this keeps really good relationships with partners, with kids, especially teenagers too. If we build this habit with them, they won't shut us out as much as hopefully teenagers normally do, right? It all starts with communication. Set aside time was the key takeaway from this book in order for us to have proper meals and not rush and slow down and enjoy our food instead of being on the go. Really like say goodbye to the fast food style. And then to build on top of that, for me personally, once I'm able to accomplish just the actual sit down breakfast and dinner without rushing, then my next step will be, okay, let's see how we can introduce better quality, healthier foods that we're preparing at home compared to getting fast food or ordering out, right? Definitely fast food, I want to cut out almost 100% of the time, right? There's always a few exceptions here and there, but really is what we eat has a huge impact. And we all know this, right? So I'm not going to go over it way too much, but what we eat really has a direct impact on the way we look, the way we feel, our energy, our health, all of it. So super important. Again, this is a reminder so we all have amazing lifestyles. One other thing that she suggested is a simple thing that you can change if you just want to work on the meal portion or the second principle. The only thing you can implement to start off with is instead of drinking juice or soda, you're always encouraging your kids and your family and yourself to drink water instead. Even just that simple change can have a huge impact. And of course, as we learned from previous episodes, tiny habits is a way to go. So we start small and we build on having better and better habits. And honestly, instead of kind of getting overwhelmed with all of these ideas, I decided to make minor changes in all the areas that I learned or only focus on one change at a time. It was very encouraging for me to feel almost motivated to do better for myself and for the kids. As we talked about, the third thing is sleep. Sleep is so important. And again, we all know this just in the top of our heads, but a lot of us don't put active effort into getting good quality sleep and rest for ourselves and for the kids, right? So in order for you to raise resilient kids and have happy, healthy kids, they need their sleep. A lot of young children actually need a lot more sleep than they're getting. And there are a lot of studies and research, as Rhonda talks about, that show the benefits of a rested kid. So if your kids are getting quality sleep, and of course this applies to you too, they have better IQ scores, their academics are better, they are more willing to listen and be cooperative into what you're doing, they're less angry, less frustrated. It just is so important. And as adults, we know how important sleep is. If we don't get enough sleep, we're not in good moods, we look worse, we know this, right? So it's very important for us to really pay attention and make sure our kids are getting enough sleep according to their age group. It's easy for young children to skip naps when it's not convenient because we're doing family activities. And again, this is a mistake I personally have made for a long time because my toddler started fighting his naps and sleeps, and I was like, I'm just going to let him skip it. But by even skipping naps, we started getting a lot more health issues. So our bodies are more prone to even getting viruses like colds, flus, any virus if we're not well rested. If we're well rested, we are overall more healthy and our bodies can fight things off. So I learned this the hard way. And when you're in it, it's so obvious when we talk about it, but when you're in it, it's so easy to make these mistakes of allowing your kids to have less sleep. Especially I could see for like teenagers or younger adults, they're kind of doing their own thing in their room. We don't even know like if they're asleep or they're awake, right? But it's so important to set the rules and really have night routines. Turn off the lights, make sure the naps are really happening because it's really going to change the dynamic of how everybody feels. Now, on to the adults, rest and restoration is really, really important. Obviously, as adults, we don't need regular naps like young children do, but we do need some rest and downtime throughout the day. So this is why there are things like lunch breaks and work breaks if we're in the office, but we need to do that at home as well. We need to take some time to really just not do anything. Let our minds wander, maybe read a book and not think about anything else that's currently going on in your life or the million things that you need to do, or even a simple walk, right? We talked about outdoors. So a simple walk can kind of benefit both things, being outdoors, being active, and also having your downtime to not be doing anything. A lot of times, if we allow ourselves to have more downtime, we will be more productive during our actual active time of working or active time of getting chores done. If we are not well rested, what can take us 10 minutes ends up taking us 1 hour. We can make more mistakes and we have to redo things. So take it very seriously about your rest and your breaks as well as an adult. So again, you can be happier and healthier and you can encourage your kids and family to do the same. So if you're not convinced how important rest and downtime is, here's another fact. A lot of innovators and authors and scientists in the past, they literally had their $1 million ideas or their best ideas when they were on their breaks or when they were on their downtime, right? So it's just something that we really need, and it also encourages creativity, and this is when we can get our best ideas, when we are at our relaxed state. So that's also why a lot of times we heard the saying that I'm gonna sleep on it, because when we just give ourselves some time to rest and think about whatever problem we need to solve, we can wake up with the answer. Also, as far as rest and relaxation, this is the main third principle we want to work on, is we want to, not as much as we can, we want to just make the decision and make it happen, right? I'm not like, if we just kind of linger around it and wish for it, hope for it, nothing's going to change. We just need to make a decision and just do it. So the next thing is actually allowing a full day for your family of rest, relaxation, bonding, and downtime. So a lot of times in the olden days, again, this all comes from the studies, mostly everybody went to church on Sundays or they had their downtime for Saturdays. So they had one full day in order to do nothing, not think about any chores, not go to work, not be on their phones and their emails and anything else. But what they did is actually do stuff that nurtured themselves, their lifestyles, and their kids. And they spent quality time going to church, just sitting at home, relaxing. So don't schedule anything one day a week. And the best time to do that is obviously Saturday or Sunday for most of us, because those are the days that we're home or our kids don't have school. Don't overschedule even fun activities. Just have room to really just be and relax. And then since we're talking about sleep, some tips that Rhonda gives about getting better quality sleep involves our lifestyle during the day and what we do at bedtime. So during the day, what you want to do is avoid coffee after like 2 or 3 p.m. because caffeine can be something that's not letting you fully fall asleep at night. Or if you eat a lot of sugars, sugars or simple sugars can really be what's getting in your way of falling asleep easily. So if we are changing like these things in our lifestyle overall, everything else going to trickle down. And again, we're going to have resilient kids, happier lifestyles ourselves. One other thing too, again, it's something I kind of didn't know, but a lot of outdoor time during the day results in better sleep at night. And honestly, I kind of figured that out with my kids, but I wasn't sure if that's a thing for everybody. But for adults and kids, if you spend more outdoor time during the day, you will fall asleep more easily. And I've tested this with my kids for naps and bedtime. It is totally true. So for toddlers, for sure, the more time they spend outside during the day, the better sleep they get at night. So that's what you want to do during the day. And then before bedtime, again, we all know we shouldn't be on our phones. We shouldn't be having any screen time. All of these things get in the way of our bodies just naturally going to sleep. So our bodies usually, as the sun sets down, this is when our body is relaxing to prepare for sleep. But when we're in front of screens, it doesn't naturally do that. It kind of tricks your brain to being more alert and awake. So you really want to leave your phone outside of your bedroom or turn it off. Don't be on it. Don't have a TV in your bedroom. Instead, you can read a magazine, look at some pictures in there, read a book, or even just listen to relaxing music. Have a conversation with your kids or significant other. Anything that is going to be more soothing and relaxing before bed. Even a bath, if that's something that you enjoy doing. You can do a long bath, right? If reading is not your thing, but find something that's away from the screens in order for you to relax and prepare for bed. And I'm sure you can find more ideas online to see what suits you best. All right, the fourth principle is for us to nurture our relationships. I know I've talked about this in the past, but in order to have better lifestyle, be resilient, be happy with ourselves and our kids, we need to have good relationships. If it's with one another, with our kids, with our families, with our coworkers, relationships are super important. So here are a few things that we can work on and some ideas to try in order for us to nurture our relationships. So overall, we want to be better listeners, active listeners, and we want to be patient. A lot of times when we're having conversations with our kids, we tend to cut them off. We tend to try to teach them a lesson. We tend to give them advice. And again, even with other people too, we as humans tend to do this. But we want to pay attention and be active listeners and just ask questions to learn more about the other person, about what they're talking about versus just really giving them advice. A lot of times our kids come to us with what happened and we are so quick to criticize, to judge, and really jump on what they're saying compared to just listening. So that's one thing we can do to have better relationships and nurture them. One idea that Rhonda gives that we can do to work on this is we can go on evening walks and just literally talk about how our day was and what feelings we had. Of course, it sounds a little extra, but if we can incorporate at least one idea into our lives from all these things that I'm talking about, you will see a huge benefit towards your lifestyle. The second thing in our nurturing relationship is we want to always be supportive and positive. One idea that she gives is we can literally call a neighbor or a friend and just tell them that we're going to take and drop off dinner for them. So that's just being really thoughtful and supportive towards your friend. Another thing we can do is we want to be quick with kind words, but we want to hesitate when it comes to criticism. So what we can do for one idea to work on this area is to call or just talk to two people that you normally don't compliment and just find something to compliment and encourage them within their lives. So some people do this naturally, but for some of us, it doesn't come naturally. So we need to put that active effort to really like try to compliment other people, even if it feels kind of forced. As we do it more and more, it will make the other people feel better, and it will make us feel better for making them feel better. So try to be more outgoing with your positivity and with your words of encouragement towards others. This is going to nurture all your relationships and really like build your village around you to be stronger. If we have good connections, good people around us, and everybody knows we like and care about each other, we're really going to have a better support system, and life's going to be a lot easier with ourselves, with our kids, with our friends, for when we're facing harder times in life. And of course, we want to volunteer, we want to help, we want to give gifts, we want to do all those things that show other people in our lives that we love and we appreciate them and that we're here for them. So one idea for this is, if you have a friend, you can offer to babysit for them, for example, or you can offer to do their gardening for them if that's what you really have the time for and you can enjoy doing for them, or ask them to randomly go over, and we talked about sending them a dinner, but randomly go over and clean their house for them, right? These are all things that we normally don't do, but if we put that extra effort and energy in our relationships with friends, family, kids, it really would nurture it, okay? One other idea is, not only within our direct family and kids, we can also volunteer in our community. That's what's really gonna show our kids and for ourselves that it's not only about us, there's a bigger picture out there, and this is how we can nurture those relationships, is by volunteering together and spending that quality time doing good for others. Those were the top 4 principles, and I feel like I talked a lot about them because those are things that I really want us to work on, including myself for my family. The next 4 I'll kind of go over quickly. I don't want this to be such a long episode for you guys to get bored from, but the 5th thing is actually, again, putting in that religious or spiritual practice with your family. That was one main practice that the centenarians did from Rhonda's study that really helped people feel good, have like that downtime, and really had a community, like that community of people getting together outside of your direct family on the regular basis was really what helped nurture their life and their health and to give them longevity. And so there are some things that you can do to nurture that area of your life with your kids. Is you can start praying at nights with them. I actually remember my parents doing this with me, and I really enjoyed that time. I didn't quite understand what God was or why we were praying, but I just loved the fact that I was doing something and spending time with my mom every night, right? And then but I currently don't do that with my kids. I was like, oh, maybe I should start that practice and teach them a little bit about religion. But again, you can pick and choose how you want to approach this, but it could be something simple as, again, saying a prayer before dinner or at nighttime, or you can really like commit and go to church every weekend, or your temple, or whatever religion you're practicing or that you want to practice. You can also explore and see what different practices are there and what fits you that you can pass on to your kids. But any sort of kind of religion, spiritual practice, or something that's kind of community based is really, really good for our souls. So again, something to think about. The 6th thing is to always have a positive mindset. I'm not going to go in details with that because I feel like this whole podcast is a little bit about that. So just keep listening and following, and you're subconsciously going to end up having a positive mindset if you just keep putting all these things in practice, right? But okay, one quick thing I'll mention. Just pay attention to your thoughts. Anytime you're thinking about something negative, or if you are complaining, you want to quickly catch yourself and say something positive or something that you're grateful for instead. That's like the easiest way to practice being positive. The 7th one was actually help others and volunteer. And I've kind of touched base with that with the relationships aspect of it. But again, help. The more you help other people, the more they will be willing to help you when you're in need. And helping other people is actually selfish because you get more benefits from feeling good about it than they get benefits from the help, most likely. likely. And also volunteering, same concept. And lastly, the 8th principle is to teach and encourage others to live better lifestyles. And here is what I'm doing right now with this podcast. And I actually love talking about this with my friends and family too. The more people around us that are choosing to live better and encouraging us and going through the kind of this transition and journey with us, the more likely we are to stick to it. I've said it in the past, find somebody to do it with you, talk about it so you guys can encourage each other and keep each other reliable, right? So that's kind of what I plan on doing with my community, with you guys online. So share with me your thoughts, what you're struggling with, how it's going, what you want to pick to work on. And again, it could be overwhelming to like try to think about all these things that you should fix in your life. No one's perfect and no one should be perfect actually. But even just the process of working on ourselves and picking one little thing to improve on is really what's going to keep us going and make us happy and just add purpose to our lives, add fulfillment to our lives. So pick one of the things that we talked about, one little thing, and start there. And then as you work on that, you can work on something else. If there is something you're working on, let's say the meal aspect of it, and it's really difficult, you're feeling discouraged, it's just not working, just put it aside for now. You don't have to fix that area of your life right now. Pick something easier, something smaller that you can actually accomplish, and then you'll go from there, right? You want to have these things, the small changes that we make in our lives to feel good in order for us to keep going. If something feels too much or too hard, it's not going to work and it's not going to have its purpose. So break it down for it to be as simple as easy so you can actually accomplish it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope I didn't overwhelm you because I'm like thinking about all of these things myself. It could feel a little overwhelming, but like I said, I hope this encourages you to start your 2024 with a list of things that you can do to live a better, happier lifestyle for yourself, for your kids, for your family. And most importantly, thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this community. And I hope to see you guys on social media where I started sharing more about kind of the little steps and things that I'm doing on the daily. We'll see you guys there. Thanks for listening. Bye. Thank you for listening. Please rate and review this podcast. Follow and engage with us on social media under the Yegi Project. And if you're interested in being a guest, email info@theyegiproject.com. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes.